Hello and welcome to Learn English with Technology podcast series, episode 31, How to Use DeepSeek for English Beginners. Today we're diving into the world of AI-powered language learning. And specifically we're focusing on DeepSeek, a tool that's designed to help English learners of all levels, but especially beginners. So if you're just starting your English journey, this deep dive is definitely for you. We're going to unpack how DeepSeek works, what makes it unique, and why it's particularly great for those taking their first steps in English.
Yeah, what's really fascinating about DeepSeek is that it goes beyond just simple translation tools. It really tries to help you think in English right from the start.
That's a really crucial point because I've tried those basic translation apps and often they just make my sentences sound so clunky and unnatural.
Right.
So I'm curious how DeepSeek actually tackles this issue, especially for beginners who are still grappling with, just basic grammar and vocabulary.
Yeah, well, one of the key aspects of DeepSeek is its personalized learning path. So it kind of assesses your current level, and then it creates a customized plan for you with these bite-sized lessons that gradually increase in difficulty.
So it's not like you're being thrown into the deep end with complex grammar rules right away.
Exactly. It's more like having a personal tutor who understands your strengths and weaknesses and adjusts the pace accordingly.
Okay. That sounds much less intimidating, especially for someone who might feel overwhelmed by just how vast the English language is.
Right. And speaking of feeling overwhelmed, DeepSeek also incorporates the system of rewards and milestones to keep you motivated. It's kind of like leveling up in a game. You get that sense of accomplishment that keeps you going.
I can see how that would be really helpful because staying motivated is often the biggest challenge when you're learning something new. It's easy to get discouraged if you don't see results right away.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where DeepSeek's interactive exercises come in. It's not just about passively reading rules. It's about actually using the language through things like quizzes, pronunciation practice, and even conversation simulations.
So it's like having a virtual language partner who's always available to practice with.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And one thing I find particularly interesting about DeepSeek is that it also includes cultural lessons. Because, language isn't just about the words themselves. It's about understanding the culture behind them.
That's a great point because, sometimes even if you know the grammar perfectly, your sentences might still sound off if you're not familiar with the cultural context.
Exactly. So let's say you're a complete beginner and you've never used DeepSeek before.
Okay.
How do you actually get started?
That's a really good question because I'm imagining some complicated software that requires a lot of setup.
No, not at all. It's actually incredibly easy to access DeepSeek. You can do it on your computer or your phone, either by visiting their website or by downloading the app.
So there's no need to be a tech wizard to use it.
Yeah.
That's a relief.
Yeah, once you're in, you can start typing or pasting your English sentences.
Okay.
And here's where the magic happens. DeepSeek instantly analyzes your writing and provides corrections and suggestions for improvement.
Can you give us like a concrete example of how that works?
Sure. Let's say you write, yesterday I go to the store.
Okay.
DeepSeek would immediately flag that incorrect tense and suggest the corrected sentence, yesterday I went to the store.
Okay, so it's not just about correcting grammar though, right? It also helps with things like word choice and making your sentences sound more natural.
Absolutely. For instance, if you wrote, I very like coffee, DeepSeek might suggest, I really like coffee, or even I love coffee, all grammatically correct, but with varying degrees of nuance and naturalness.
So it's teaching you not just to be grammatically correct, but to actually sound more like a native speaker.
Precisely. And one of the features I find incredibly helpful is the AI conversation. So you can actually chat with DeepSeek in English. Ask grammar questions, get vocabulary suggestions. It's like having a conversation partner who's always on call.
That's amazing, especially for people who maybe don't have access to regular English conversation practice.
Exactly. And if you're struggling with reading comprehension, DeepSeek can be a lifesaver too. You can paste a difficult sentence into it and it'll break it down, explain unfamiliar words, and even offer synonyms. It's like having a built-in dictionary and grammar guide all in one.
So DeepSeek really seems to offer this comprehensive approach to learning English. But I'm wondering, how do we ensure that users are actually learning from this feedback and not just becoming overly reliant on the tool?
That's a crucial point, and it brings us to some common pitfalls that we need to address.
Yeah, let's dive into those because I could definitely see the temptation to just copy and paste DeepSeek's corrections without really understanding the reasoning behind them.
Yeah, one common pitfall is treating DeepSeek like a crutch. Rather than a learning tool.
Right.
It's so tempting to just rely on it for every sentence, but that can actually hinder your progress in the long run.
So instead of passively accepting corrections, Users should try to actively engage with the feedback and understand, why those changes were made.
Exactly. It's about turning those corrections into learning moments. So, for example, if DeepSeek flags a grammar mistake,
Yeah.
don't just copy and paste the corrected sentence. Take a moment to actually analyze the explanation,
Right.
see what rule was applied and try to remember it for next time.
It's like having a teacher point out your mistakes and then explain the reasoning so you don't make them again.
Precisely. Another common mistake is using DeepSeek solely as a translation tool.
Oh, yeah.
It's tempting to just write something in your native language and then translate it word for word. But that often leads to unnatural sounding English.
I can see how that would happen because, different languages have different sentence structures and idioms.
Right.
So a direct translation might be grammatically correct,
Yeah.
but it might not sound natural or convey the intended meaning.
Exactly. So instead of relying on translations, try to think in English as much as possible. Even if it means starting with simpler sentences, DeepSeek can then help you refine those sentences and make them sound more sophisticated over time.
So it's really about training your brain to think in English rather than relying on your native language as a crutch.
Exactly. Another pitfall is overcomplicating your sentences.
Yes.
Some learners try to use, the most complex vocabulary or grammar structures,
Right.
even if it sounds awkward or unnatural.
I've definitely been guilty of that, thinking that using fancy words would make me sound more fluent. But I've learned that clarity and natural expression are way more important than trying to sound like a walking dictionary.
Exactly. And DeepSeek can actually help you find that balance. It can suggest alternative words or phrases that are both accurate and easy to understand.
So it's not just about correcting mistakes, but it's actually
Yeah.
helping you develop a more natural and sophisticated writing style.
Precisely. Now, while DeepSeek is fantastic for writing, it's important to also not neglect speaking practice.
Right.
English is, after all, a spoken language.
That's a good point because it's easy to get caught up in perfecting your written English and then forget to actually speak it.
Exactly. So after DeepSeek corrects your sentences, try reading them aloud a few times, Pay attention to your pronunciation, your intonation, the overall flow of the sentence.
It's like practicing for a speech or a presentation.
Right.
You want to make sure it sounds natural and engaging and not robotic or monotone.
Precisely. And another crucial aspect is reviewing your progress regularly.
Okay.
It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day learning and forget to look back and see how far you've come.
It's like hiking up a mountain and you're so focused on the next step that you forget to stop and admire the view.
Exactly. So take some time each week to go over your old sentences and DeepSeek's corrections. You might be surprised at how much you've improved.
Yeah, and seeing that progress can be a huge motivator.
Absolutely.
It's a reminder that your efforts are paying off and that you're actually moving towards your goal of fluency.
Now, even with the best tools, motivation can sometimes be a challenge.
Right.
So let's talk about some ways to make learning English with DeepSeek, more engaging and fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, sometimes grammar drills can feel a bit tedious.
Yeah.
So how can DeepSeek help us spice things up?
Well, for starters, DeepSeek has built-in gamification elements. Things like challenges, rewards, and even friendly competition with other learners.
So it's kind of like turning language learning into a game.
Exactly.
Which sounds much more appealing than just memorizing grammar rules.
Right. You can earn points, unlock achievements, and even climb leaderboards.
Yeah.
It adds an element of fun and excitement to the learning process.
I can see how that would be motivating, especially for people who are competitive by nature.
Exactly. And beyond the built-in gamification, you can also create your own challenges.
Okay.
For example, try setting a goal to use a certain number of new words in a sentence, or to write a short story using a specific grammar structure.
That's a great idea. It adds a personal touch to the learning process and lets you focus on areas that you're particularly interested in.
Exactly. Another fun way to use DeepSeek is for creative writing prompts.
Oh, fun.
You could try something like, imagine you woke up with a superpower. What would it be and how would you use it? Or write a letter to your future self.
Those are great prompts. They really spark your imagination and allow you to practice your English in a more creative and expressive way.
Exactly. And don't forget about the social aspect of learning English. Connecting with other learners can be incredibly motivating and helpful.
It's like joining a hiking club.
Yeah.
You have this group of people who are all on the same journey and who can support and encourage each other along the way.
Exactly. You can use DeepSeek to share your writing, get feedback from others, and even participate in online language exchange groups.
So it's not just about interacting with the AI, but it's also about connecting with real people who share your passion for learning English.
Precisely. Now, as you continue on your English learning journey with DeepSeek, remember that motivation is key.
Yeah,
It's what keeps you going when things get tough.
that's like the fuel that powers your engine.
Right.
Without it, you're not going to get very far.
Exactly. And while DeepSeek has, those built-in motivational features like gamification and progress tracking,
Right.
there are also things you can do on your own to stay motivated.
So, like, what are some practical tips that listeners can implement?
Well, first of all, set realistic goals. Don't try to learn everything at once. Break down your learning into smaller, more manageable steps.
So instead of saying, I'm going to become fluent in a month,
Right.
you might say, I'm going to focus on mastering the present tense this week.
Exactly. Smaller, achievable goals will help you stay on track and feel a sense of accomplishment as you progress.
And it's important to celebrate those small wins.
Absolutely.
It's like rewarding yourself with a snack break after completing a challenging hike.
Exactly. Recognizing your progress, even if it seems minor, can boost your confidence and keep you motivated.
Another tip is to find a learning routine that works for you.
Right.
Some people prefer to study for a set amount of time each day, while others like to focus on specific topics or skills.
Yeah. The key is to find a rhythm that you can stick to and that fits into your lifestyle. Don't force yourself into a routine that feels overwhelming or unsustainable.
It's like finding the right hiking trail, one that challenges you but doesn't exhaust you.
Exactly. And don't forget to reward yourself along the way. Learning should be enjoyable, not a chore.
So whether it's treating yourself to your favorite coffee, watching an episode of your favorite show, or simply taking a break to relax, make sure to acknowledge your hard work.
Absolutely. Those little rewards can go a long way in keeping you motivated and preventing burnout.
And finally, don't be afraid to experiment and find what works best for you. DeepSeek offers, a wide range of features and tools.
Yeah.
So explore them and see which ones resonate with your learning style.
The beauty of this platform is that it's adaptable and customizable. You can tailor it to your individual needs and preferences.
It's like choosing the right hiking gear. You want
Yeah.
something that's comfortable, fits well, and supports you on your journey.
Now, as we delve deeper into the world of DeepSeek, let's explore some of the advanced features that can take your learning to the next level.
Okay.
These features are like hidden trails that can lead you to even more breathtaking views. So one of the most impressive advanced features is DeepSeek's contextual learning engine. And what's really cool about this is it goes beyond simple grammar and vocabulary correction.
Okay.
It actually analyzes your writing style to tailor the lessons and feedback to your specific needs.
So it's like having a personal editor who understands your strengths and weaknesses.
Exactly. It's not just about correcting individual errors. It's about helping you develop, more sophisticated and nuanced understanding of the language.
That sounds really powerful, especially for learners who are, aiming for fluency and want to sound more natural and expressive.
Exactly. Another advanced feature that's worth highlighting is the speech recognition technology.
Oh.
This allows you to get real-time feedback on your pronunciation as you speak.
That's amazing, because pronunciation can be a real challenge for English learners, especially those who, don't have regular opportunities to practice with native speakers.
Yeah, absolutely. And DeepSeek speech recognition goes beyond just identifying errors. It actually provides a detailed analysis of your pronunciation,
Wow.
highlighting areas where you might need to improve.
So it's like having a personal pronunciation coach right in your pocket.
Precisely. And then there are the adaptive learning modules.
Okay.
These adjust the difficulty of the material based on your performance.
So you're always being challenged, but never overwhelmed.
Exactly. It ensures that you're constantly progressing without getting stuck or feeling discouraged.
I like that.
Yeah.
And then finally, there's the learning analytics feature.
Yes, this provides really detailed insights into your progress so you can see, where you excel and where you might need more practice.
It's like having a personal data analyst for your language learning.
Exactly. You can track your progress over time, see how your vocabulary and grammar are improving, and identify, any recurring errors that you need to work on.
So DeepSeek really seems to offer this holistic approach to language learning, combining cutting-edge technology with personalized feedback and guidance.
And the best part is it's constantly evolving. The DeepSeek team is always working on new features and improvements based on user feedback.
So it's not a static tool. It's a dynamic platform that's always growing and adapting to the needs of learners.
Exactly. So if you're ready to take your English learning to the next level, DeepSeek is definitely worth exploring.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, from the basics of DeepSeek to its advanced features and how to avoid some common pitfalls.
Yeah, we've talked about the importance of active learning, staying motivated, and embracing, that social aspect of language learning.
Right. But ultimately, the key to success with DeepSeek, or really any language learning tool, is consistency and dedication.
They make it a habit to use DeepSeek regularly, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. You know, set realistic goals, celebrate your progress, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it.
Remember, learning English is a journey, not a destination. And DeepSeek can be your trusted guide along the way.
So what are you waiting for? Start exploring DeepSeek today and unlock the world of English. It's an adventure waiting to happen.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into DeepSeek. We hope you found it informative and inspiring.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. We love hearing from you.
Until next time, keep learning, keep practicing, and keep having fun with English.
Happy learning, everyone!